Thank you.
Mary Ellen O'Toole is a former profiler for the FBI and director of the Forensic Sciences program at George Mason University. So, Mary Ellen, it appears, according to authorities, the Turpins went to great lengths to keep their children a secret from the outside world. Has your work on previous cases led you to an explanation for this sort of behavior?
I think so. It's more than just wanting to be cruel to one's children. It's more than just wanting them to live in squalor. My sense is once the investigators get in there and start looking at motivation, they're going to see a sexual component to this behavior. And the sexual component would involve the male's what we call sexual deviancy. But I think there's going to be a sexual component here.
Well, several of the victims were adults. What sort of conditioning, Mary Ellen, would the Turpins have employed to keep them docile?
Well, a couple of things. These people were malnourished, so they probably were 27, 28, but looked much younger. So their physical conditions caused them to appear to be much younger in age. They were probably what we call groomed, starting at a very early age by the mother and by the father. And grooming can be a very powerful tool to convince people that all of the power is with the father or the mother, and the child is under incredible stress every day to do exactly what they're being told, because if they want food, they have to go to the parents. If they want to use the bathroom, the parents are the powerful ones that allow that. If they don't want their sister or brother to get slapped, the parents are the ones that allow that. So a lifetime of being groomed like that can result in what we're looking at right now, I do believe.
Well, the victims, as you noted, were found malnourished. They were held captive in squalid conditions, according to authorities, likely for years. What kind of hurdles will they face in regards to recovery?
It really is going to be tough for all of them, and they're all different human beings. So, and they all endured different things and probably incredibly humiliating, awful things. So, it's going to take each one of those young people a great deal of time and counseling and psychological support to begin to build up a sense of self-respect, a resiliency. Whether or not they're able to come back 100%, too hard to tell, but hopefully the state and the county will be able to provide them with all those essentials. But it's really concerning, because the older you are, when it comes to repairing like that, the more difficult it is.
Well, David Turpin's parents said that their son and daughter-in-law were considered, quote, a good Christian family in their community. Based on your experience, Mary Ellen, does religion typically play a role in cases like this? And if so, what is that role?
Yes, in other cases I've had, religion does play a role, and here's what the role is. I'm doing this because I'm a religious man, I'm a man of God, I'm a woman of God, and so it allows them to kind of hide behind this religion. But are they really true believers? Are they really people that, follow, religious doctrine? No religious doctrine would allow for this kind of treatment. So in the cases that I've had where people have said, I'm holding my Bible and I did this because of God, it's just a shroud. It's just an excuse. They're not people of God.
Well, there are so many unanswered questions regarding this case as of yet. How do investigators determine the motivation for the degree of cruelty that's being alleged in this case? What kinds of things will investigators be looking at?
Sure. What investigators will do, along with victim witness advocates, they'll be talking to each one of the children and determining through the eyes of the children what happened and what their lives were like, what the dynamics were inside that home. And this sounds a little callous, but they will be doing DNA analysis on each one of those children to find out who the biological mother is of all those children. I would not be surprised to learn that some of the children actually were the biological mother of some of the younger ones. So they're going to have to establish who the biological parents are. But they'll have to explain and the children, and I use that term, that children are going to be tough to work with because they're embarrassed. This is all they've known. It's still their parents. And again, depending on the level of depraved behavior that they had to engage in, it may become very difficult for them to talk about, because we have to keep in mind that grooming was so successful for all of those years. It kept 12, 13 people in check from violating whatever those rules and regulations were of that father and that mother. So they have years to overcome in order to be able to determine what really happened there. And some of this may be just way too embarrassing or disturbing for the children to talk about. They will not get a one-time dump of information for the children, nor should they try to do that.
All right, a profoundly disturbing case. Mary Ellen O'Toole, thanks very much.